Okay, so this will probably be the last skinning video for this character, so unless we need to do any edits. So let's go to leg armor. This should be pretty simple because we put bones in there for that. So those are just going to be rigidly bound to those bones. You can see that it's not quite perfect, so we're just going to go in here and I can flood here. Now we're good. So that's it for that. And then we just have the lower cloth. So I'm actually going to go ahead and turn off default material, show everything, and then I can that way I can make sure that this is all connecting nicely. So for this we're going to do pelvis and spine 1, because the cloth does kind of go up there. And then we just have all of our chains, which are these. So let's double check our selection again. And yes. So this is going to be a bit of a pain because it is double-sided, which means your weights are going to have to be exactly the same on both sides, or else you're going to get clipping through the cloth. So it's actually the better thing to do here is we're going to duplicate this. I'm going to hide the original one, and then on my duplicate I'm going to select the inside faces, just double click. If I hit delete, now I get a nice single-sided thing. This will be much easier to skin, and then we can move these weights over to our actual one when we're done. So again, grab those, the spine, the cloth, and bind skin. And if you're wanting to see both sides, you can do two-sided lighting. That usually works. We might have to go into the shape, and I think it's in render stats, double-sided. There we go. Okay. Sweet. So now we can go ahead and initialize skinning layers, and as we've done multiple times, we're going to start with the pelvis and flood. And the first thing I'm going to do is just check that if we rotate the spine, does that look okay? Or do we have problems? And you can see right here, we're probably going to want to go back to the upper body and fix that cloth going through. But we'll do that later. But I think for now this is actually okay. Also, there's a little bit of distortion on that little jewel thing where it's not quite lining up, so we'll fix that too. So we'll go back and fix that once we get our cloth done. So I'm going to go ahead and create the front cloth layer. You just type in front, show our joints, so we can see the front cloth starts all the way up there. Because this is single-sided, it's going to be very simple. And if we do paint on the other side, remember that we can always use our mask to easily mask things out that we don't want to have influence. Otherwise, this will be pretty straightforward. We can also just control left click to remove any influence. Let's go ahead and smooth, and then just take a look, see how that looks. Okay, and then we'll do the back mid cloth. So that's going to be these guys. It looks like that starts right about there. And I'm really just trying to work on this piece. So if I get something on these other pieces, I can either mask them off or do this. They do connect though right here. So that we're not going to be able to do anything about, but otherwise that's what we're looking for. And we'll double check that we don't get anything on the front cloth piece here as well. Five and 6. Let's double check our weights and then go ahead and smooth that out. Here's our back cloth, and there we go. One more layer for the back side cloth. This layer we can mirror over. So that's going to be these here. You just temporarily hide those so I can kind of see this seam better. Alright. There we go. Alright, let's take a look. Cool, and we should just be able to straight up mirror this, and looks like I messed up my joint orientation on that back mid chain. It's Y instead of Z. So I might go back and fix that, but otherwise that's pretty much it. So the only thing that we wanted to fix was the spine here. So what we can do here is we can create another layer on top, call this spine fix, and basically I think the thing that we want to do is get more pelvis in here. So let me hide. What I'm going to do is just smooth this part out. Mirror that. Show this again. Let's take a look at the back. That looks okay. So it was really just on the front side. And like I said with the belt, we do have a joint on this, so... Or we did. I don't know why we don't anymore. Oh, I'm an idiot. I actually didn't put any weight on it. I just put it between the spine and the belt. So I'll fix that. And, but yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing we'll probably run into is this front cloth, right? So it's going to clip into that. So let's also go back to bind pose. Take the two top front cloth joints and add it as an influence, making sure that lock weights is checked. And we can come back in here. I'm just going to do another layer for cloth. And let's take a look at the joints. So right around here. There's the smooth. Cool. And then let's again take a look at the spine just to make sure that's still looking okay. And now let me fix the belt. Can't believe I did that. It's down up here. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that influence. And all we need to do here is just flood this. Let's take a look and see how that looks by itself. So you can see it really kind of clips in to a lot of stuff. So we have a few options. One, we can go into this layer and see what we can do, because that will give us some influence over this to be able to pick it up and move it around and rotate it. Or we can have the layer be fully on, so it's fully flooded to the belt joint, and then we would have to probably kind of manage it a little bit more, but I don't think there's really a right answer here. It could go either way. I think either way you're going to want to manage it. I think if you do full influence, you're going to have to manage it a little bit more than if you do half influence or something. Because this gives you at least some of that motion for free. Whereas this, we'll just keep it like that. Fully weighted to the belt. And oh yes, the copying this back over. So what we can do here is go to File, Export Layers to JSON, and we'll call this cloth weights. We're going to want to add the same weights onto the original mesh. So everything, pelvis, all the cloth, spine 1, grab that, find skin. You can hide this one. I'm going to call it proxy mesh and hide it. And now we can import our cloth weights onto this. I'm going to turn off keep existing layers because we haven't really done anything with that. And now our double-sided cloth with the 2 layers is perfectly aligned. Everything will work correctly. If you were to have done that by hand, it's kind of a pain in the butt. One thing that I'm looking at is that, there's going to be some, depending on kind of what animations we put on this, if the leg kind of goes out too far, this isn't a problem because we've already planned for that by having the leg armor. So we can set up a nice set-driven key for that. But the cloth, I don't think, is going to go, doesn't start high enough for that to be, a non-issue. Right, so that one's going to be tricky if it goes out, because we might want to, this is where, the reality is, like in a production environment, I would absolutely go back and probably add more joints to this and put the pivot higher. It would mean reweighting this, but it would mean better deformation on that. And it's just hard to kind of have all that correct from the very beginning. So yeah, I'd probably put another joint actually up here, which would at the very least allow me to, when I pose this, match the angle of the leg. Because depending, like as soon as the leg pops this way, you're going to get some clipping. Now, one of the things that we can do is we can try to put some leg influence on this, but I'm not sure if that's going to look super good or not, because the cloth joints are actually a child of the pelvis, and so it's going to be a little bit strange. The best move would actually be to add more joints, and at least one more, and put the pivot up here. That would definitely give us the best results, because even if you, like, say, translate this, which there's nothing, that's fine. It doesn't have to just be all rotation. So let's say we wanted to translate this to match, right? We can't even really do that because the influence is just enough. So we'd have to either put more weight up here, or but I think the best thing would just be to have a pivot that's kind of like right up here, and that would give us a nice cloth. So one of the benefits of using ng skin tools, as you just saw, is that it's very easy for us to save out weights and then import them in. And there's different methods that we can use to import them in. So for example, if we were to do that again, you'll see closest point on surface. That's very useful for when you're dealing with single-sided to double-sided. We have UV space. It's very useful for when you have something that's very similar, has an exact same UV layout, but the topology has changed, the vert order has changed. That will get you a much better result than this. And then the best result is going to be by vertex ID, but as it says, source and destination vert count and order must match. That's going to give you an exact import, which is what I'd probably use if I was exporting the weights from here and then adjusting. I would do that. So I'm actually going to do one more video to show adjusting this, because I'm going to save this. I think where this is good, and we could go forward with this, but I think it would be better if I went ahead and actually just made that change. It's really only going to be needed for probably these side pieces at least. Let's actually double check that. So if we do this, yeah, we'd want it for the back too. I don't think we need it for the front. No, I think the front's okay, because we'll also put cloth simulation on these. But even with cloth simulation, if I were an animator and I were trying to pose this, I just can't make like a good pose. So let's fix that. So I'll do that in the next video, and yeah, see you there.